So far, the different psychrometric processes that we have seen in the earlier sessions. So let me recall some of the processes that we have discussed. The sensible heating, the sensible cooling, humidification and dehumidification as well. So these were the four fundamental processes that we have came across. The process that I am going to discuss for the today's session is nothing but the combination of the two different processes. That is the process number 4, which can be seen there on the screen. So that process is called as the cooling and dehumidification. So let us see how the different characteristics feature of the cooling and dehumidification can be discussed, can be seen. The process which has been shown in the diagonal downward fashion, that is represented arrow that is represented in the color black, is nothing but the way or the path by which the cooling and dehumidification process can be represented on the psychrometric chart. Now this process is basically used in the summer air conditioning systems for the two different purposes simultaneously. One of the purpose is nothing but to cool the air, which has been mentioned here, okay, to cool the air, and second is nothing but the dehumidify the air. So cool the air, it means that you have to decrease the temperature of the incoming air according to the requirement, according to your comfort conditions. And second parameter that need to be controlled or regulated is nothing but the dehumidification, dehumidify the air. It means that you have to reduce the humidity which is present in the air. Now both of these simultaneous processes, that is cooling and dehumidification, can be obtained by making a physical arrangement or the mechanism in such a way that the required air is allowed to pass over the cooling coil or through the cold water spray. So we have also seen that in the case of the sensible cooling process, the air which is required to be conditioned is supposed to be passed over the cooling coil. Now this particular psychrometric chart on which the combinations of the different processes are represented, initially it may look to be somewhat and very difficult to understand, but let us see what are the different points, what are the importance of the different points or information which can be related to the different points on the psychrometric chart. 4 different points are as such shown on this psychrometric chart: point 1, point 2, point 3 and point 4. The point 1 that represent the outlet condition of the air, it means that the condition of the air before the air is getting treated. The condition number 2 that represents the desired condition of the air after carrying out the process of cooling and dehumidification. Now to this point number 3 and point number 4 I will come after some time. Let us see the animation which is appearing on your screen very carefully. Cooling and dehumidification process. So this particular shows the dry bulb temperature of the air decreases. So initially at point 1, this is nothing but the dry bulb temperature. TD1 is nothing but the dry bulb temperature of the inlet air, dry bulb temperature of the incoming air, and the temperature represented at point 2 is nothing but the TD2. So that is nothing but the dry bulb temperature of the air after carrying out the cooling process. So hence the process deals with the decrease in the dry bulb temperature. Similarly, now look at there on the y-axis, the specific humidity of the air decreases. Specific humidity is getting reduced. Now as for this point 1, if we draw the horizontal line till it cut the y-axis, so we will get the initial specific humidity of the air, that is nothing but the omega 1, and the final condition we know that it is represented by the point 2. So similarly we will draw the horizontal line from the point 2 toward the right till it cut the y-axis, and we will get the specific humidity of the outlet air or the air after carrying out the process. So that is nothing but the omega 2. So hence the specific humidity of the air decreases from the initial value omega 1 to the final value of omega 2. So it means that this process of cooling and dehumidification that deals with the decrease in the dry bulb temperature and decrease in the specific humidity of the air. Okay, let me take the discussion to the next slide. the final phi, that is nothing but the relative humidity of the air, is higher than that of the entering air. Entering air, it means that the air which is represented by the condition 1, isn't it? So suppose I draw one curve, relative humidity curve passing through the point 1, so it would be somewhere phi 1 I can obtain. And if I draw a curve that is passing through the final condition of the air, that is nothing but the 2, say the phi 2, so definitely I can say that the phi 2 would be greater than that of the phi 1. So that is what it is stated here. The final relative humidity of the air is higher than that of the entering air. So phi 2 is greater than phi 1. Now let us see what the point number 3 and point number 4 are representing. Now I know the initial condition of the air, which is represented by the point 1, and I know the inlet properties of the air, inlet psychrometric properties. Two psychrometric properties are given to me. So that is nothing but say the omega 1 and TD1, the specific humidity at the inlet omega 1 and dryable temperature at the inlet TD1. So I know the omega 1 and the TD1. And if I draw the horizontal line toward the left from the point 1, okay, from this point 1, if I draw the horizontal line toward the left till it cuts the saturation curve, so I will get the point 3. So this point 3 is nothing but the dew point temperature of the incoming air. Okay, this point 3 is nothing but the dew point temperature of the incoming air. And this point 4, that point 4 is nothing but the apparatus dew point, also known as the coil ADP, that is apparatus dew point, represented by the point 4, that is nothing but the dryable temperature TD4. What the important statement is mentioned here, the dehumidification is possible only when the TD4 is less than the TDP1. Okay, it means that the air should be cooled or air can be dehumidified provided only the outlet temperature of the air, okay, sorry, not the outlet temperature, but the dehumidification would be possible only when the TD4 is less than the TDP1. So coil surface temperature should be less than the dew point temperature of the incoming air. Is that fine? So point 3 is nothing but the dew point temperature of the incoming air. Point 4 is nothing but the surface temperature of the coil. So you should cool the air below the dew point temperature of the incoming air. Okay. So dehumidification, that is what I have stated. The dehumidification of the air is possible only when the effective surface temperature of the coil, that is nothing but the TD4, or also known as the apparatus dew point, is less than the dew point temperature, that is the TDP1 of the air entering the coil. So this is very important equation, or rather than the condition, so as to carry out the process of the dehumidification. And the effective surface temperature of the coil, that is nothing but the TD4, is known as the apparatus dew point, that is the ADP. Now on this particular slide, I am showing the two different processes on the psychrometric chart represented on the left side. Okay, I know that the process carried out is nothing but the 1 to 2, that is cooling and dehumidification. So this process is shown as a combination of two different processes, that is nothing but the process 1A. Okay, the process 1A, which is nothing but the dehumidification, and the process A2 is nothing but the sensible cooling. So dehumidification and the sensible cooling is represented here. And the different additional properties which can be obtained after actual plotting of this process on the psychrometric chart, that is enthalpy H1, enthalpy H2, and similarly the enthalpy, which is the intersection of the vertical line drawn from the point 1 and horizontal line drawn from the point 2, which is nothing but the point A. Is that fine? So same thing are supposed to be represented here indeed, that is nothing but the point 1 omega 1 TD1, point 2 omega 2, that is nothing but the TD2, the point 4, that is nothing but apparatus dew point, so TD4 dew point temperature, and the omega 4, and the point 3 is nothing but representing the dew point temperature of the incoming air. Okay. Now these are nothing but the initial conditions which are normally mentioned to you in the statement of the problem. TD1 dryable temperature of the inlet or the entering air, then TDP1 dew point temperature of the entering air, which is nothing but represented by the point 3, that is TD3, TD4 ADP of the coil or the effective surface temperature of the coil. Now under the ideal conditions, when we are saying that there are as such no losses which are taking place in the system, or there are no irreversibilities in the system. So under the ideal conditions, the dew point temperature of the air leaving the coil, so that is nothing but the 0.4. Okay, dew point temperature of the air leaving the cooling coil should be equal to the surface temperature of the cooling coil. So that is nothing but this point, the dew point the tribal temperature of the air leaving the cooling coil. So actually it would be 2, but under the ideal conditions, the air can be cooled theoretically up to the lowest possible temperature, that is nothing but the ADP of the coil, that is nothing but the 0.4, that is TD4. But we know that this process would never happen in actual practice. Why? Because some irreversibilities would be involved in the system. It is stated at the bottom. It is never possible due to the inefficiency of the cooling coil. I would like to recall here that one important point that was discussed during the sensible heating and the sensible cooling process was nothing but the bypass factor of the coil, isn't it? So this process 1,4, that represents the condition of the air as it passes over the cooling coil. So cooling coil is not having the 100% efficiency, so there will be definitely some bypass factor of the cooling coil. So hence the actual temperature of the air leaving the cooling coil would be TD4 and not would be TD2. Sorry, the actual temperature of the air leaving the cooling coil would be TD2 and not TD4, because the bypass factor of the coil is coming into picture. And if we say the bypass factor of the cooling coil is 0, it means that the cooling coil is 100% efficient. So under that circumstances, 0.2 and 0.4 will coincide at the saturation curve. They would be they would be lying on the saturation curve only, but it would be never possible. So this has been stated here. The resulting condition of the air coming out of the coil, yes, okay, which is represented by the 0.2. So 0.2 would be the actual condition of the air which is leaving the cooling coil after carrying out the process of cooling and dehumidification, and theoretically it could be cooled up to the 0.4. So the resulting condition of the air coming out of the coil is shown by the 0.2 on the straight line joining the points 1 and 4, that is the inlet condition of the air and the ADP of the coil. So this is what the bypass factor that we have discussed for the sensible cooling and sensible heating processes. So let us see how we can write down the equation for the bypass factor of the coil in case of this cooling and dehumidification process. Bypass factor for the 0.2 and the process 1,4 can be represented as, so that is nothing but the TD2 minus the TD4, okay, TD2 minus the TD4 divided by TD1 minus the TD4. Similarly, it can also be represented as TD2 minus the ADP, because we know that the temperature at 0.4 is nothing but the apparatus dew point coil surface temperature. So TD2 minus ADP divided by TD1 minus the ADP. In the similar fashion, it can be also represented as the ratios of the differences of the specific humidity as well as the enthalpy. In the similar fashion, omega 2 minus omega 4 divided by omega 1 minus omega 4, that would be indeed also equal to H2 minus H4 divided by H1 minus the H4. In actual condition, the cooling and dehumidification process follows the path as shown by the dotted line. This one, okay, path which has been shown by the dotted line 1 to 4. But for making our convenience, for the calculations of the psychrometric properties, only end points are important for us. That is 0.1 and 0.2, irrespective of what the path which is followed while carrying out the process of cooling and dehumidification. So this particular I have stated earlier, that is the cooling and dehumidification process consists of the two simultaneous process. So one process, that is 1A, that is nothing but the dehumidification, and the process A2, that is nothing but the cooling process. I can write down the equation, mathematical equation for this particular process. So the heat which has been removed, that is Q equal to H1 minus H2, enthalpy at the beginning minus enthalpy at the end. Similarly, H1 minus HA, H1 minus HA, that is nothing but the dehumidification, cooling H1, sorry, that is H2 minus the HA minus the H2 rather. So hence I can write down the equation, latent heat is nothing but the H1 minus the HA, and sensible heat, that is nothing but the HA minus the H2. So cooling and dehumidification, again the latent heat is nothing but this H1 minus the HA, sensible heat removed HA minus the H2. So the